Good morning, students. This video is for grade 6, subject science, block 28, composition of air. We are going to start LP1. Air is everywhere. Let's start. The aim of this lesson is to prove that soil and water contain air and explain their significance. The keywords are soil, water, porous. The resources required are a small glass jar or bottle with dry soil, glass of water, gas burner, glass pan for boiling water, water, 2 by 2-inch cardboard, bottle of soft drink, bottle opener, S1, notebook and exit content book. Now students, see this bottle. It's a soft drink bottle. If you have one soft drink bottle, then check it well. What will happen if you open the bottle? Why do you think that would happen? While opening the bottle, listen carefully to the sound of the bottle. What caused the sound? Now see, air is found everywhere, even in this drink. Dissolved gases in the liquid cause the bubbles to form. So students, today we will perform two experiments to find out if air is present in the soil and water. Let's see. For the first experiment, you have to take one bowl and put some water in it. Keep it on burner. Allow it to boil and observe it carefully. Now there is a second experiment. For this experiment, you have to add water from the glass to the another glass jar which is containing dry soil. Observe what happens carefully. Now you can pause the video, perform these two activities, and after taking observation, again resume the video. Now there are some questions based on these two activities. What happened when the water was boiling? What happened when you added water to the soil? What do these bubbles indicate the presence of? So let's see, students. When the water was boiling, small bubbles began to appear. These bubbles are actually the air that is escaping as water vapor from the water. In the second experiment, when we added water to the soil, we saw bubbles of air coming out of the soil as the water took the place of air in the soil. The bubbles in both the experiments indicate the presence of air in the soil and in the water. Now, how is air present in soil and water? What is the significance of presence of air in soil and water? Let's see. The soil has many interconnected holes filled with air and water. Air in the soil is found only in those spaces not occupied by water. Many animals live in burrows and holes in deep soil, which allow air to move in and out of the soil. Students, think a common creature which is usually found in soil and which is also called farmer's friend. Right, this is earthworm. Organisms living in the soil breathe this air. When it rains, the space occupied by air in the soil gets filled with water, which dissolves nutrients in the soil for plants to absorb. Students, you might have observed in rainy season that earthworm come out of the soil. So this is the only reason. When rainfall takes place, so the water goes inside the soil, and as water goes inside the soil, so air will be escaped from there, and therefore these worms and the creatures will come out of the soil as they are not getting oxygen or the air for breathing. Air is present in water because it takes up the places between the water molecules. Dissolved air in water helps aquatic plants and animals to breathe. This water dissolves nutrients from the soil, which is then used by plants. Dissolved air in the water helps aquatic plants and animals to breathe. So ultimately students, air as well as water, both are helpful for the creatures present in the soil. What would happen if there was no air in the soil? Organisms that live in the soil help to break down the decaying matter to form nutrients that are used by the plants and also to keep the soil porous. Now, what is the meaning of porous? Porous is something which has pores or holes. If there was no air in the soil, these organisms would not survive in the soil. Without these organisms, nutrients would not be available to the plants through the soil and the soil would become very compact. Actually, students, these creatures will help the soil to make porous and so that the flow of air and water can be maintained. The soil will not be able to absorb water properly without the presence of air in the soil. Now, students, what we learned today? In this lesson, we learn that air is present everywhere and mainly in the soil. So, water and air, these two things present in the soil will make life possible and they will make plant life also possible. Now, there are some quiz questions. Who lives in the soil and water? What do they need for breathing? Write the effects on plants if there was no air in the soil. So let's try these questions and write their answers. Now we will discuss the questions of volume book. The first question is complete the sentences. We know that soil contains air because. Students, you have to mention here the experiment which we performed. When you will put some water into the soil present in the jar, then you will see that some bubbles are coming out, which will show that air is present in the soil. Second is we know that water contains air. So by boiling the water, we can prove that air is present in the water. Now the second question, fill in the table. What happens because of the presence of air in the soil? So students, already we discussed that if air is present in the soil, then so many things can happen, like germination of plant seed can be taken place. Soil air helps plants to absorb more nutrients. Soil air helps plant roots to grow deeper. And soil air provides oxygen to soil organisms. Now, what happens because of the presence of air in water? Now, students, if air is present in water, then so many aquatic life will be possible. Their survival will be possible, like fish. These animals use gills to breathe the dissolved oxygen present in the water. Now the next question. Why do animals like earthworm and ants come out of the soil during the rainy season? So of course, between the soil some pores are present and in these pores air is present. When rain comes, so this air will be replaced by the water. And if the air is not present in the pores of the soil, then these creatures will find difficulty to breathe and they will come out of the soil. So students, you have to finish your S1 of volume book and you have to complete your practice questions from the content book. Thank you students. Have a great day.